to another Unreal Engine 4 tutorial. Today we're going to talk about what I'd like to refer to as gadgets. Gadgets I am going to include are a flashlight, a compass, a jetpack, and later on in the more advanced stuff we're going to also do drones and RVs. However, they are a little more complicated, as I mentioned by saying they're advanced. So I want to get the easy stuff out of the way, move to some medium stuff in the next few videos, and then eventually we'll come back to this. So the way we're going to handle gadgets is very similar to the way we handled weapons. We're going to create a base gadget, and then our character is going to refer to all gadgets as base gadget. So let's get started. We're going to click on our blueprints folder and right click and create a new folder, and that's going to be called gadgets. Inside of gadgets, we're going to create a blueprint class. It's going to be an actor, and that actor is going to be called gadget underscore base. Now, gadget base is going to need two references or two variables. The first is going to be a get player character cast to hero, or whatever your character is called. Attach that to event begin play, and then drag off of this, promote to variable, and call this variable reference hero. The second one it's going to need is a reference to itself as to whether the gadget is active or not. This is going to be a boolean, and it's just going to be called is gadget active. And we're going to use that a little bit later on. Compile and save that. There is one more thing we need. Drag gadget base over here to the tabs, over to our test, and we are going to click on the interfaces folder, right click, and go to blueprints, blueprint interface. It's going to be called I underscore gadgets. Inside of this interface, we're going to create two functions. The first one's already there, ready to be named. We're going to call this activate gadget, and the second one will be called deactivate gadget. Compile and save that. So the majority of our work is going to be inside of our hero character. So that was for me, content, core, and b underscore hero. I want to use the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 to activate my 4 gadget slots. However, I'm already using them to troubleshoot weapons because I have 5 weapons and 10 numbers. That's not going to be a problem. I only want to use 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I can still have 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 if I want to quickly switch between my weapons in future. Something else that's also going to be probably medium tier is making these weapons so that they can be picked up, which we'll get to in a later episode, but I just wanted to take a break from the weapons because I got up to like 7 videos of just weapons, and I'd imagine that you guys want to learn some other stuff in the meantime, you know, break it up a little bit. So with that, let's compile and save that. Now, I'm not going to use the direct numbers. In fact, I'm going to create some inputs like we did way back. I already have project settings open, but if you don't, just go to test, settings, and project settings. If you click on the input section over here, you can see the inputs were created last time. We're going to need 4 new inputs. So click this plus button 4 times. First one we're going to call is gadget 1, gadget 2, gadget 3, and gadget 4. And then from the drop down, I'm going to use the number 1 for gadget 1, the number 2 for gadget 2, the number 3 for gadget 3, and shock, horror, suspense, the number 4 for gadget 4. But I have not forgotten about console. Hit the plus sign next to each of the gadgets for another input. I'm going to use gamepad, D-pad up for the first gadget. Next to gadget 2, hit the plus sign, hit gamepad, D-pad left for gadget 2. This one I'm going to do gamepad, D-pad right, and you might want to do down in that specific instance so that they go clockwise instead of vertically. I'm going to keep them vertically, so my fourth one will be gamepad, D-pad down, and we don't need to compile and save for project settings. So with that done, now when we go back over to Hero, we're going to go below our axis inputs, and I'm going to type in gadget 1, gadget 2, gadget 3, gadget 4, and I'm going to set them up something like this. Next up, just like our weapons, we are going to make our gadgets a component attached to our character. So up here, equipped weapon is technically a child actor component, and we do a whole bunch of stuff with that right here, where we get the component and call the child actor. We're going to do the same thing for our gadgets. So with camera underscore FPS, or whatever you've named your camera, selected, hit add component, and type in child actor. And here I'm going to call my first one gadget slot 1. Then I'm going to go over to child actor class and type in gadget base. Compile and save. With gadget slot 1 selected, I'm going to hold Control and press W, which will give me an automatic gadget slot 2. With gadget slot 2 selected, I'm going to hold Control, press W to get gadget slot 3, and I'm going to do the same one more time for gadget slot 4, and all 4 of them will be gadget bases. Next up, I'm going to drag in gadget slot 1, holding Control, so I get getters, gadget slot 2, gadget slot 3, and gadget slot 4. So when I press 1, I'm talking to gadget slot 1. When I press 2, I'm talking to gadget slot 2. You get it. You know how it is. First thing I'm going to need is to get child actor. Same as our weapon, when we're talking to a component and we want to talk to the child actor inside that component, we have to talk to it using this node. Next up, cast to base gadget. There's our base gadget. Connect the executable pressed to the end of base gadget. From gadget base, we are going to get is gadget active, the boolean we created earlier. And then we're going to get a not while we're here. And I'm going to explain why we want to ask not in just a moment. Next, hold down B and click on anywhere on the graph for a branch. So connect not to the branch and connect the executables. From there, I want to get from the child actor, activate gadget message and deactivate gadget message. By dragging off the child actor and not gadget base, I will get the references for these much quicker, because this is for some reason more susceptible to interfaces. Drag them over here, not too far, and connect true to activate and false to deactivate. This is why I have the not here, because what I'm asking is the gadget not activated? And if it's not activated, we want to activate it using true. If it's not activated, or if not activated is false, thus essentially being true, then false will deactivate the gadget. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm reversing the order of the branch so that when I see true and activate and false and deactivate, it makes more sense to my brain. You could do it the other way around if you felt like it, completely up to you. One more thing I want to do is clean this up. So I'm going to double click on either of these blue lines to get a reroute, drag the reroute over and use the reroute to connect deactivate gadget. Then because target is now trying to get 2 targets, I'm going to hold Alt, click on that and just hook it up again. Now the script is going to be the same for every single gadget. So all I need to do is copy over everything from child actor onwards, and I can paste it down here. The only thing I need to do is connect gadget slot and pressed. So the only thing changing is the component that we're talking to. With that all done, I'm just going to quickly straighten up these nodes here. Just selecting the nodes and pressing Q. And compile and save. And there, our gadgets are set up. Now for testing purposes, we're going to pop back over to gadget base, get rid of event actor begin overlap and event tick. We don't need them. Click on class settings and go over to interfaces here. Click on add and search for i_gadgets. Compile and save that. And now we can get the activate and deactivate events. Event activate and event deactivate. We're not going to use these events inside of base the same way that we don't fire a weapon from our base weapon, but I just want to test it out. Next up, every single time we need to turn a gadget on or off, we need to update the Boolean so that the character blueprint knows whether to activate or deactivate that gadget. So drag a setter out. All I'm doing is holding Alt and dragging them out. Next up, get a print string. Gadget activated. Copy that print string down. Leave a little more space. Not that it matters, we're going to get rid of them as soon as we start creating child blueprints off of this parent, but we just want to test this out now. So when we press 1, 2, 3, or 4, we should get that particular gadget activated or deactivated. Compile, save. Go over to test, hit play, and when I hit 1, it should say gadget activated. It does. Now when I hit 1 again, deactivated. Now I'm hitting 2 and hitting 2 again. 3 and 4. So hypothetically, if I had any sort of gadget in any of those slots, it would work. So in the next episode, we're going to look at the flashlight. After that, we'll make a compass and we'll also get our jetpack working, all based on the work we just did in this episode.